And good morning. Welcome to your Thursday. My name, Jay Cleveland Payne, bringing you, or about to bring you, things you might not have heard for this day, Thursday, June 16th, 2022. Already getting the coughs going, so let's do the hydration early because hydration is very important, especially at the beginning of the day. Name, once again, Jay Cleveland Payne, things you might have heard. These are some news stories, seven of them to be exact, that happened in the last 30 hours that you might not have picked up on in the mainstream media because we try to focus on a whole wide spectrum of different types of stories, not just the top ones, although we do top ones when they are there. And we're starting off with a pretty one that's pretty important to, should be to everyone right here today. For more details about the background of the Conversation Project and how you got here and how you can keep us going, it's very simple. Stop by our main website, which is theconversationproject.com. You can see how you can help keep us afloat with visiting our sponsors, being a partner, and some of the things we're trying to write up coming soon. For this Thursday, let's start off with this story right here. Brittney Griner's imprisonment has been extended again, and experts say her hearing won't never happen. What does that mean? Brittney Griner, of course, was arrested on her way out of the Soviet Union. I call it that because it seems a lot like the Soviet Union, out of Russia, over very many months ago, for the crime of having. The crime is essentially a trafficking in marijuana. What she basically had was a vape that had some cannabis in it, and that's essentially what was there. At least that's what we know from the story. Trust me, I'm not there, so I can't tell you the full play-by-play. Maybe she had bales of cocaine in her backpack. Maybe she did. But as far as we know, we can't get any read on that because we can't get a proper hearing. No one can really get a lot of words to her. She has representatives who are now talking to her, but as far as actual a process of crimes, because it's Russia, they have pushed back her imprisonment again, with her trial being pushed back again. And experts in Russia say, because that's how they do things, it's not happening. Brittney Griner is never coming home, never getting a fair shake. And the reasons behind this are actually pretty complicated. Number one, being held over there in Russia holds her as a pawn to be used for negotiations for the United States, especially with the Ukrainian stuff. She basically was leaving Russia as Ukraine was basically ramping up and going from there. Russia has released other prisoners, but not this woman here. Not that she's a real threat to anybody, but that's who they're holding on to. She's more high profile than other folks because people actually know who she is, as opposed to some of the other political type folks who've been held there for a while. We will see how this plays out. We will bring this up anytime we can, even if there's no news story. Every so often, I like to bring up Brittney Griner because she needs to be brought home, and she needs to be brought home immediately. We just need this thing done immediately. Next story. BTS announces they're going on hiatus. Billboard.com gave us this story, and it's a little bit misleading. The BTS, yes, they are going on hiatus, which means they're not going to be hanging out doing crafts and, eating rice and playing with puppies and video together. They're going to do some solo stuff for a while. BTS, the group, has been around for about 9 years, and now they're doing the new edition breakup to get their own personal projects in for a little bit. It would start off with one of the members releasing a song a few days ago to announce, like basically celebrate the 9-year anniversary, 9-year birthday of BTS. He released a solo album to release that, but he did not release something with his bandmates. BTS not going away. Going on a hiatus means they're going to work on their other projects. There's way too much money, way too much in these guys. So basically, they're trying to spread them out a little bit more so people don't burn out on the BTS. The next story this morning is this one right here. The Internet Explorer browser retires today, which of course was yesterday. APnews.com gave us this one. Yesterday was the final day of any sort of support. Actually, there really was no support for a while for Internet Explorer. In fact, at this point right now, there are updates coming to your computer to take away all the vestiges of Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is so old and so patchy and so not useful for the most part that Microsoft want to destroy it from the earth. They felt they needed to not upgrade Internet Explorer, but create a brand new browser from scratch with the Edge browser, which isn't so bad actually. But it's what they're pushing it so much for people who literally just think the big E means internet. So it goes Internet Explorer to E for Edge, and they even changed that because people were thinking the E's were get confused with the E's and things like that. But if you are a user of Internet Explorer, do not be sour. There are some patches, there are some ways to manipulate Edge browser so that it emulates the Internet Explorer experience. We have this thing back at my job where the database system we use, because it's a legacy system, needs Internet Explorer to access many things, and so we had to update our Edge browsers to make sure it works. That's the only reason why we use Internet Explorer, and the main reason why people use Edge for accessing this database. But so if you are really worried about it, or you're just just stodgy, don't know what's going on, click on the new thing that pops up there and use it. It's just as well. In fact, it's a whole much better based on newer technology. Let's move on to the next story. WWE's board is investigating a secret $3 million settlement that Vince McMahon reached with a former employee with whom he allegedly had an affair. WallStreetJournal.com gave us this one, and this is something that, probably isn't all that surprising. We're going to show the picture of Vince just being Vince. If I have the story straight, of course, there's all sort of rumors going on, but essentially there was a former female employee who was actually maybe the first female referee they had way back in the 80s, who rode in a car with Vince McMahon, essentially doing some contract negotiation, and in the process had to have sexual relations with Mr. McMahon to keep on going. She eventually quit and sued, and apparently this thing had turned into a $3 million settlement to keep her quiet about the situation. There's a lot of people talking about the WWE. There's a lot of things in the background. If you're not a WWE fan, we'll get some more stuff going forward. That in the background of what should be a simple company that has people beating each other up for fun. But in the background, so many things happening. If you remember the Dark Side, the Ring series, if you've watched that, they had a episode last year that chronicled the plane ride from hell, which was essentially a ride from England back to the States over a European tour where the planes were delayed, so they just fed the wrestlers with alcohol for a couple of hours sitting there on tarmac. By the time they got in the air, there were so many just shenanigans and just weird stuff and legal stuff to happen that it was deemed the plane ride from hell, and a lot of people took a lot of blame for that. A lot of people's careers got screwed for that. A lot of people just got over because they were already over it, just how things work out. Vince McMahon, the 70-year-old CEO of the WWE, now dealing with this case as a real case, or probe at least. We're going to see how deep it goes to where it's going to end up. Let's go to the next story, which is Little Caesars becomes the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. BroBible.com is that one. And I put this in here yesterday as a teaser because I thought it was kind of funny. We've been years away from Papa John roaming the streets of NFL teams and being at Super Bowls, just being Papa John. And, of course, we're now losing Domino's as the official pizza sponsor for the NFL. This is essentially just advertising. Little Caesars pay a little bit more to be the official pizza and to be in commercials and things like that. The big thing is, how is your pizza? Are you happy with the pizza quality going from Domino's, from Papa John's to now Little Caesars? Many people are not so thrilled with Little Caesars. They're quick, they're fast, they're easy. My kid won't eat anything but Little Caesars and Domino's, which are one of the two worst options we have locally. But it goes to show that they know how to market. They know how to make money for getting a quick pizza. I think my son, essentially for about 2.5 years, when he was in college, lived basically on Little Caesars pizza and ramen every so often. Ramen broke up the monotony of Little Caesars. I don't understand it. But Little Caesars is now your official football pizza sponsor for the NFL. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go to the next story. Charm feud between original and reboot continues even after series finale. Sci-fi.com gives this one. And this story was in the range. It's 14 out of 15, which is of the 34 stories you had to pull from today. So it is conversational, but the only person I know who particularly cares about it, personally, is my wife. And she doesn't care about it because she didn't watch the Charmed reboot. However, this is what the deal was. The original Charmed sisters and the new Charmed sisters and the original Charmed, production company, a new Charmed production company, have beefed back and forth about the reboot for a lot of things. In the finale, which I think was a bit abrupt because I think they just canceled a Charmed and tried to wrap things up, the Charmed sisters of now found their ways back to the house of the Charmed sisters of yesteryear, the Holloway house. They found themselves at the house, and apparently the old production team were like, yo, this ain't good, this ain't good, this ain't good, and wrote some beef letters back and forth. Now, the current production team wrote things saying, hey, we understand that we love both shows, whatever. The real issue was they made the new charm, but sort of forgot about the old charm, as if the original stuff didn't actually exist. So from there, that's where the beef has gone on the 5 seasons that the series is on. I think it was 4 or 5 seasons. That show has been canceled by the CW, which is looking to be acquired, looking to keep some of the shows going, putting up really bad shows. I'm going to say right now, Tom Swift, I can't do Tom Swift. I can't do this. I can't do the CW. I love your horrible stuff. I can't do Tom Swift. Fix it quick. Let's move on to the next story we have right here, and that is going to be Bradley Cooper reveals he was addicted to cocaine and alcohol before the Hangover. Lad Bible, the other Bible.com, gave us this one, and this is an interesting story. So Bradley Cooper graduated from acting school and then picked up some roles. He did some commercials, did some little work, and he thought he had made it. And then he realized he wasn't quite making it. On his way to go do Alias, moving to California and been shooting on Alias, he started to realize that he wasn't getting the quality roles. He wasn't getting the big stuff. He was not going to seemingly make it at the time. And from there, depression set in and an addiction to cocaine and alcohol happened. Then the Hangover happened, and he got straight, basically. It wasn't method acting. He just really was in a bad place until he got cast in the Hangover, and that turned into a blockbuster hit and a blockbuster sequel, and his career exploded from there. And with success, it's a lot easier to not be so depressed. That happens. Having good things go for your really great for your psyche, it tends to be. And so that was a story. He told that on the podcast with some of his famous peoples, because I've got a podcast. Everybody's got a podcast. And so just stories from tales from the back end, essentially talking about how he was doing not so great when he thought he was doing well, and then he realized he wasn't doing so well. He said it felt like being in high school and just being on the second tier, and he could not get out of it. But we are glad he's doing better. We're glad for his increased roles and the things he's doing right now. And we'll see what's going to happen going forward in his newer things. I don't think there's anything announced in that interview that was something coming up. I think it was just a chatting with Bradley Cooper. A story that we could talk about tomorrow if you deem this worthy. Here is one that there are so many questions, so many horrible, tasteless jokes that could be said in this one. I'm just going to put it out there. Student 21 strangled girlfriend 18 as he was convinced she was a life-sucking demon. There's your title. There's all the context you need. Check it out when it posts online, and if you deem this one necessary, enough engagement to make this one a chat topic, we shall chat about this one, guaranteed. But right now, let's chat about money or saving money. We've had a couple ads this week on things that were for investments and things that are hard to really get your teeth into right now, because we talked about stocks, we talked about crypto, we talked about houses. And right now, those markets are all sort of crazy. What's not so crazy are glasses. The glasses market is right where it needs to be, and we can save you money by going to Zenni Optical to get your next specs. This is the conversationproject.com/Zenni, Zenni, is a place to get beautiful frames and great lenses and all the glasses tech that you could ever think of for low prices. The lenses I'm wearing, everyone tells me I need to keep wearing them because I guess I'm so ugly without them. These lenses literally are $7 lenses, $6.95 for the lenses. I've bought the same lenses over and over again for about 4 or 5 years, and I've been upgrading the frames are $6.95. $7 for the frames. The lenses are a bit more advanced, but they're not Coke bottle thick. These have a slight tint to them. They have bifocals and trifocals. They have the transition style lenses. They have blue blocker style lenses. They have sports goggles. They have pretty things. They have sunglasses. Anything you want from Zenni. My little girl is about to get her eyes examined in a couple months for her first pair of glasses, and she already picked out a cute little cheetah zebra mix for her glasses from Zenni Optical. It's going to save us money, and they're just good glasses. Glasses are glasses. And if you don't like them, you can send them back like the other people say. It's that good. This is the Conversation Project.Zenni. This is the Conversation Project.Zenni. Z.com/Zenni. This is conversationproject.com/Zenni. Zenni is how you get to Zenni Optical with a affiliate link that will help us keep things going here at the Conversation Project. The main website is, as we said, This Is a Conversation Project. Check it out so you can see how we do things behind the scenes and in front of the scenes and some of the things that keep things going. Find out more about our other sponsors that may help you out and help us out in the process. Become a partner with us and help us keep things going that way, and see deeper details on some of the projects we've done in the past and the projects that once we find the time, we will launch in the near future. The feeds are on Facebook and Twitter. If you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you can vote up and vote in stories by your engagement. Little simple. If you see a story you like it, love it, hate it, share it, do some engagement to it, read it, please, so you understand the news part. And the higher engagement it gets, the higher score it gets on the next morning. 5 a.m., we cut off the scores, and for Tuesday through Friday, we take the top 15 stories and pick 5 to 7 stories to repeat back to you that are interesting and tell good narratives that need to be told to you guys. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com/th_conversation. Follow us on our YouTube page by going to thisisaconversationproject.com/YouTube. The link for that's there. We need more subscribers so we can get our custom link for YouTube. We appreciate all the folks getting there. We need more there. We want to grow that page out of the, I'll just blow it out of the water with folks over there. So make sure you subscribe to the page, and of course hit the bell for notifications so that when this thing goes off, this report goes off at 5:50 weekday mornings, you'll be notified that we are here. So some other things we say for this day, for June 16th, some birthdays. Shouting out to Joan Van Ark, 79 years old today. Of course, most famous for starring in the nightly drama that was Knots Landing. If you're under 30, ask your grandma, ask your parents. They understand. They know it. It's a really big deal. Laurie Metcalf, 67 years old. Of course, she's starring in what was Roseanne, The Connors, and various things like that. And Phil Mickelson, turning 52 years old today, which I believe is one of the players who did defect over to the Live Tour over in Saudi Arabia. So he's currently banned from the PGA Tour. We'll see how that works out. Oddly enough, all these guys can play in the big majors because they're not necessarily PGA events. They just can't play in the lower events. And Mickelson has, of course, earned his right to play in anything he wants to. So he can play in the U.S. in the majors and, of course, play in the Live Tour and cash out those big-ass checks because he can. He earned it, whether it's they're calling it sport washing, essentially using big-time players to bring people in to wash over the very, very, very bad reputation of the Saudis and how they treat people and workers and how people basically die building all those buildings in the golf courses. We'll see if anybody's watching. We know that they're paying a lot of money because they got a lot of money. And one last thing before we go out the door, a survey found that Americans think an annual income of $147,104 means they've reached success. How the 147,104 got to be there, I'm not sure, but essentially a six-figure salary is a key to being successful for Americans in just the general thought process. And if you can hit that 150,000 mark, that means you have reached success. Now, if you can manage to maintain that, that's a whole nother story going on these days. Thursday, June 16th, 2022 is still today. At least as I record this. You may watch it tomorrow in the future. These were things you might have heard for today's broadcast. Actually, things happen on Wednesday, and we're going to do this whole thing again tomorrow for things you might have heard for today, so you can get some water cooler talk to get in for your Friday morning. Follow us on our feed so you can be engaged with us and you can help do the work to get things picked on the shows. And, of course, the big thing is stay hydrated, stay focused, and stay on task. You may not think that the things you have to do are all that important, but trust me, you are here to do some great things. We need you here to do that. Some people wonder why I put the effort into this thing here. This is one of the few things that I can knock off my list every day to say I've accomplished something. It keeps me sane. It keeps my brain working. And so it's good for me, and that's good for everybody else. Plus, there are some people who actually get a little news out of this, which is weird, but it is. So thank you so much for being a part of the show, whether you are live, pop or in the replay, pop in a comment and we'll chat you up later. And now we're going to just ready for going back to stuff. Working on that. Let us know of any of the improvements and the things and tweaks we've done lately. Give us some heads up on how things work out. I'm trying to wrap up. I'm trying to get this done. And let us know what's working well, what's not working well, what we should change back, what some adjustments to change forward. So like I said, in the meantime, let's get to work. We're already posting stories so we can prepare for more things that you might not have heard for tomorrow morning.